Hi, welcome to this Corbettmaths video. In this video, we're going to look at the GCSE Further Maths topic of the trig graphs, or graphs of trigonometric functions. So we're going to, in this video, look at the graph of y equals cos x, or the cosine graph. So we've looked previously at the sine graph, and in that video, we've looked at the fact that we need to know what the graph looks like between negative 360 degrees and 360 degrees for the GCSE Further Maths course. And likewise, we need to know what this graph looks like between negative 360 degrees and 360 degrees. Okay, so we want to draw y equals cos x. So I've created an xy table, and actually before we come to this, let's just label our axes. So the cos graph again will go between 1 and negative 1, like the sine graph. So I'm going to label the vertical axis to begin with. So I'm going to label negative 1 down there and 1 there. I could have chosen negative 1 there and 1 there and just gone between those values, but I've just used the full width, the full height of the graph there. Okay, so that's the vertical axis labeled between negative 1 and 1. And now we're going to label the horizontal axis, the x-axis, and it's going to go from negative 360 degrees to 360 degrees. So negative 360, that'll be negative 180, so that'll be negative 270, negative 90, 0, 90, 180 degrees, 270 degrees, and 360 degrees. So we've labelled our axes. Now let's work out some of these points. So let's work out the cos of 0. So if x is equal to 0, the cos of 0, and again, GCSE Further Maths is a calculator paper, so you can work these out on your calculator if you really wanted to, whenever you're asked to sketch these. However, I do think it's beneficial to know them off by heart, so that whenever you particularly go to A-level maths, or just in general, you know what the graphs look like. So the cos of 0 is equal to 1. So that means we're going to go 0 across and 1 up. So it'll start here. So unlike the sine graph that starts here at the point 0, 0, the cos graph will start here at the point 0, 1, so up there. Now, the cos of 90 degrees, well, if you work out the cos of 90 degrees, you get that's equal to 0, so that's equal to 0. The cos of 180 degrees will be negative 1, so that's negative 1. The cos of 270 degrees will be equal to 0, so 270 degrees is equal to 0. And the cos of 360 degrees is equal to 1, so up there. So the points start at 0, 1, and then go down, down, up, and up, like so. So every single time you go across 90 degrees, it either goes up or down 1. So like so. Okay, so if we do our curve, it would look something like this. Okay, so that's the right hand side of the graph. Now let's have a look at the negative x-axis. So if we work out the cos of negative 90 degrees, so negative 90, if you do the cos of negative 90 in your calculator, you get that's equal to 0. As you can see here, the graph's going to carry on in this pattern. It's going to go down, down, up, and up, and so on. So the cos of negative 90 degrees is equal to 0. The cos of negative 180 degrees is equal to negative 1, so it's going to be negative 1. The cos of negative 270 degrees is equal to 0, and the cos of negative 360 degrees is equal to 1. So the graph would look like this, and that's it. So that's what the graph of y equals cos x would look like, or the cosine graph, between negative 360 degrees and 360 degrees. And as you can see, it starts at the point 0, 1, and it has that line of symmetry, that vertical line of symmetry there, and that's it. So that's the graph of y equals cos x. Now remember, you need to know it between negative 360 degrees and 360 degrees, but it may be that you're asked to sketch that on a subset of those values, perhaps between 0 and 360 degrees, or negative 360 degrees and 0 degrees, and so on. And that's it. So you need to know what that graph looks like. Let's have a look at two questions now. So the first one says to sketch y equals cos x for values of x that are bigger than or equal to negative 180 degrees, but less than or equal to 180 degrees. Okay, so we want to sketch this. Okay, so let's sketch this. So let's start off with the vertical axis. Because it's the cos graph, we know it's going to go between 1 and negative 1. Again, I could have put the 1 there and the negative 1 there if I wanted to, but I'm just going to go up to the top and the bottom there. And then we're going to go between negative 180 degrees and 180 degrees. So then that'll be negative 90, that'll be 0, that'll be 90 degrees, and then we've got our 180 degrees. So that's fantastic. Okay, now let's plot where our points would be. And again, it's a calculator question, so you could do the cos of 0 and so on, but the cos of 0 is equal to 1, so it's going to start there at 1. It's then going to go down to 0 at 90 degrees and go down to negative 1 at 180 degrees. And on the other side, it's symmetrical, so the cos of negative 90 is equal to 0, and the cos of negative 180 is equal to negative 1. So it looks something like that. Okay, now let's draw a nice curve. And that's it. And that's the best I can do on this computer. It's quite hard whenever you draw it on the computer to do it accurately. It is a sketch, so as long as you plot the points in the right places and do the rough idea of what it would look like, then I'm sure you get full marks on the exam for it. Okay, so that's that one. Let's have a look at another one. So this time we've been asked to sketch the graph of y equals cos x for values of x that are bigger than or equal to negative 360 degrees, but less than or equal to 0 degrees. So it can be anything in between that negative 360 and 360. So here I'm going to label that to be 0, and then that to be between negative 90 degrees, negative 180 degrees, negative 270 degrees, and negative 360 degrees. We're then going to label the vertical axis, so I'm going to call that 1 and that negative 1. Okay, so again, the cos of 0 is equal to 1, so it's going to start there. The cos of negative 90 degrees is equal to 0. The cos of negative 180 degrees would be negative 1. The cos of negative 270 degrees would be 0. And the cos of negative 360 degrees would be 1. So that's where the points would be. Now we just need to draw a curve for it. And I'm just going to change colour of ink here so we can see it a little bit better. So it's going to start here. It's going to come down. And that's it. Okay, and that's my sketch. And that's it. So that's what the graph of y equals cos x would look like between negative 360 degrees and 0 degrees. And that's it. So in this video, we've looked at how to sketch the y equals cos x graph. We've looked previously at the y equals sin x graph. And in our next video, our last one on the trig graphs, we'll look at the y equals tan x graph. And therefore GCSE Further Maths. And I really hope you found these videos useful. If you have found them useful, please like and please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thank you. Cheers. Bye.